Urban akwentum sema Ghana as a country yentumi enkade yen nyina ibotumi atena kronim oyede na obi obotukwan wa akode akwohwede abrabom nso obede. In fact just last week for constituency a footballer oba be whom the way opportunity akwobobo na ohia ticket to travel okwobobo no he was there Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. Minini din komo no chere okay akitua would be man or dollarized. And you know over Ghana no obo one of the local teams. In a way opportunity or to can also go Sri Lanka. We betua ne kewa obe man life a little better than Musa or Ghana or I had to get him some money to be able to pay the agent or negotiating it into that contract. And I say, okay, in fact, just this morning, or send them picture they will do Dubai, my Oko. And I send a message just before here, also the wild land was Sri Lanka. So this is someone from a Efia constituency, or Bobol, unto Canada. Say, we could put Sri Lanka the Oko Nebra. The man a Ghana fu pi one reason or the other. Oma ubia ofi kruma de Oroko. Oroko no we nya da isubia de basabasa yobi obesia no hono. And then you come to the case of South Africa. You no wanna take Africa crewing. In fact, for the number of countries what transact business with South Africa, you now who work with South Africa on your small numbers. In fact, per my data and put them, they're almost about 15 to 20% of the people in South Africa no or yeah ahoho na wokokobwa krone cheche. For the economic activity in South Africa, so the contribution of foreigners to the economic development of South Africa no are very, very significant. In fact, our Unimpona 1 year a lot of the Ejuma will boost the economy in South Africa. It will be beside the Ababona na foreigners worry war South Africa will necessitate. In fact, Senka Ubimpo Bay in the ma a between they be as an individual be and a walk bokro be ukrum or another be a walk in your more sema. Then you attack that individual. Onumpoye against the law because we beat here off from bra. Man never under be reporting the dako. But when you have the entire class of the people going after foreigners, now a attack one business, a attack one homes, a attack one personality, not a big issue. Now to the extent that people have to lose their lives, it is the government of South Africa. No, over the period, this is not the first time I hear such attacks. Breed to Bribia, no unity oba. Now about Bechibu, Yeni Crofro Casa. But what is happening now no, is getting out of hand and has actually gotten out of hand. Here for Ghana, ayeka de support a ban Nanamun 2. Or the first condemning the attacks. Second, trying to establish some diplomatic questioning with the South African embassy and then the presidency. But Zama Otto Chimaka Kramam Nede. Time now the means I may couldn't abanka de or Pekwana obey Ghana for the for no daba. Mawomayan a roadmap. First, what's to do? Almost about 3,000 or so Ghanaians had registered to be evacuated. Then I acquired first batch of 300 or so. Your son acquired second tranche of about 300. Into why they into me exhausted them evacuation processing. Because the plan was Ubia why ready there open the office South Africa biano. Or said but second evacuation. I've not heard of any other processor. Almost the 3,000 people that were in South Africa why ready will be few. So that for me is a challenge. The second challenge in the Ghana, there a lot of diplomatic issues you didn't come up public. So FIM Foreign Affairs Ministry now, there was even this conflict of information or be was the South African president in Kwasado Bagana and yesterday Untum Bagana and I know Hula Balu trying to determine whether it was fact or what. Meaning on board in the engagement process. You would expect that Ghana for one life is at stake. When the South African government also raised an issue that why the year and they feel because we're doing that the situation has not warranted the need to move all Ghanaians from there.
But some of our people too were dying.
That is the point. It's not cheddar yen engagement, diplomatic engagement with South Africa for me is not as tight as you expect it to be. And that might also affect yen ability to, because evacuation, you still have to work with the government of South Africa. So I think that a lot of work has to go into yen diplomatic engagement with South Africa. Now, maybe two other Ghanaians and so while file a petition with the International Criminal Court. Pelgrave, Boachedan Kwana Emmanuel quoting. What's the day, man? Violence, no code was South Africa, no, has impact on human life, on human rights, abuses, and all of that. ICC, what's the day, once academy, they are going to deal with it. But ECOWAS, AU, as an African bloc, mean who that power AU be exhibitor or they be bring South Africa to an end of this crisis. And the baby so under AU, still, do we have the teeth that bites like you want it to be? Obiaji to the South Africa is a big economy, but it doesn't live on its own. Yako World Cup, who the Africans don't support them. They came out and they were complaining. Their captain complained, their minister for sports complained, and it became a big issue. Meaning that you don't live on your own. It was the African Union and all other stakeholder groups in Africa. Now, so you rise up. Exactly. Now you put the country of South Africa to order. I believe that the president of South Africa and Impingful, they've not seen that much of force and criticisms and sanctions are bite on. And Nigeria at some time, one of the senators in Nigeria was even promoting the idea. They said, we should even also nationalize their companies that is a harsh one to demand, because Ghana MTN is owned dominant shareholders from South Africa, and they are one of the biggest service providers in this country. In fact, ayeka Ghana, one of the biggest companies, it's MTN. Goldfield. You understand, and we have accommodated you to make all this money and repatriate to your country. Now here you for about one year business and then you do this to them. So I think that as a country we should do all that we can to move your microphone from South Africa. Be aware already there or said of South Africa. The evacuation should be done ASAP. Now you want to bring Ghana. Now you improve your diplomatic engagement as well to minimize tension between us and them. And then as Africa as a whole should also do better than we are.
Okay, Honorable Medas. I was for Kasaya Engineer Frank Asari Esquire, a director of mineral titles, Minerals Commission. Ababekayensa. Me lawyer me always say no. There's a name there.
Pedro.
Pedro.
No, not just there.
The walk over.
Yeah, bro.
We have a call.
Rebecca say, yeah.
You won't watch it.
You know, me, I didn't. I can't know. I said 2 weeks ago, 17th, and we did.
What would that? No, I invite me for party. No,
I've been so you need me. Say,
me
share that. Party, my party. I feel yeah, but boy, Debbie, ye sika me pese. Ye de kokoche Kolebu Eye Center. Nyanga say na me wo any problem when I am ko. Ti me say ma woda ni duni to me nya bibia. E be to me de akoboa. Na menchia Minya Bedu Bena Honorable MP. MP 2002 to 2006 Namero GSTS. Namete new site F compound. Fiane de MP no. In fact, Bia Namete Utra Anchor abroad ne ho na koso ho kakra a lady Salifu ne ma Ahmed Salifu ne ati hona na ye wo idi I honorable me kai me senior bakon Samuel Ampa as me senior brother Ankutio we mate wo botwe and at this school it is good to meet him here. Say me ba so me free bi say na afia te say mo si o afia ye na honorable say first time omunya no many bebre but anisa it
so vote ho
that we made change you made about say yours one about say yours
one vote for
oh yeah me kwata kwa di bia so e wa so na
go say yours so chere ordinary kwesi wa
oh but
that's the be say kra no so to about because the court is
mostly ebenya one or more constituencies because baby ete one cran hanti sisi a eba nkran na me two constituencies let's go na domi kwa benya eko takwa ade nso afia one day member home if you yes you say you be no both kwesimintin na
no goes yes say we did the kwesimintin you bet you
ofion boy eba me be say what say na za yeri ye wo home na zema bia akofo no open ye gudo di majid na awoso ebo na abado wonkodo na if ya offer into my profile ahanyina obo he nti abna is good to be here me say no more can about underemployment ni unemployment and not you am trying to me status it is the biggest issue for the young people in this country. Nobody should lie to anyone. Juma Honsem the central business district of every area to say Kumasi Accra e ho na nyuma ne wo e ho nso na e dan boy den na nyuma na wo ho no abena e bo a mutua ana akatua mo de ma mo ye adwuma no obi se mo ho se nti se obi te kasoa no ba adwuma wo cantonment oba adwuma wo airport ni kaska ne kura no sika na ye tua no bosome no ebeso
na se end no wasa aboka
o pese otumi etna baby a wo ye adwuma se no be ni kaska so bet on to me nti one of the issues are successive governments must pay attention to underemployment nipa ne ye adwuma nti ubehu say ye bie job vacancy almost 80% of more apply no more ye adwuma one way or the other or ye adwuma bi but na ni nyi or who said the wonya no isa in here humbo said the all apply no kra no o sanso kwanya say entry level ni de wani age what na mo be bosome miensa ekọ ne numso no no say hanso enye nti me wo na phobia omonia brepages you see what be so mo dada no ukwebu mo abia bi
GS was to be so
obi wo GS of flowers o di wa cha GS mo aban abade ayemo no so nko no abo agency bi me see agency na obo no mo so nko fo bi so ni edi nkomo say omunye baby fo from be konti it is a national discussion was a serious one, very serious on employment and underemployment nti yenhwe na eno nyina so be koso it is dependent on the productive sector of the economy private sector and a engine of growth of every economy or man bia ni ho was asase so ye develop that ni padodo na ya for mo adwuma no omoye aban adwuma yefo enye possible nemum aban na was so create enabling environment and sa JV abai joint ventures any private public partnership ni nyina so betimi aboa say if you are growing your economy na affect production there ba kwa ma dance unemployment because the people will not work and one critical issue
there a very good theoretical economic review But Abano so no would be.
I knew the one was offer. I knew the one was offer.
Why analysis solution. Okay,
but I'm happy there. I mean, this is a big issue. I mean, from both sides, MPP and DC, and them share in our discussions. Okay, say issue no. It affects us as a people. Or they in Nigeria, the EU or come easy. Now you solve a problem. No, Honorable. I think if you agree with me, I mean, if you check the data, currently, per capita income. It's just
3,000.
Minimum wage in minimum wage. It's about 21 cedis, 70 pesos.
It's about 700 cedi also.
600. Convert as 600. 21 cedis, 70 pesos. You see, these are discussions today. Yes, because if you benchmark salary to 21 cedis, 70 pesos, then you can change employer no change 800 cedis, 1,000 cedis. Or you're legally justified because you're benchmarking as a country legal, no 21 cedis per day. It's a number for car from the 21 cedis. Number to data in the day data consume. Number rent
bills.
How much is banana now the motor day? It is a baby I'm best in a 010. I've been 010. Hey, I'm not 0 and the positive. You have been raising bonds and you've been it's a big issue. We need to really talk about it. I think
South Africa.
I think the more dovetail from Komaya easy. Now is the range to South African community because today, Honorable Zinkan, look, there are reasons for migration. Your Obia was Sintra, Ozu Tukwan. Okay, you will be Moha, Utukwan for Adisha. To for so many other reasons. So because to come for tourism, we go Dubai and corner one I mean Dubai yes, work for tourism. We be suka yejuma. Okay, Obia wo central ozu tukwan. But we can't discount there. I hear from developing countries another. Na yefi amana siska sabnum kwejimeno. If share statistics now across Ghana and Ivory Coast, most of the developing countries now, and the major reason for our to know mostly no now is about siska sabnum. Take it or leave it. Inti na Asia, Ghana for our UK, Ghana for our US, Ghana for even our countries today. I'm not Sri Lanka. Or Cambodia na. Okay, South Africa or until recent times or one of the major destination for Aquintu because you feel the day, you were done perception the day. South Africa economy no or you better another koha being sika into your dog so. Indeed, on paper, South Africa one economy is on paper. Sikasabno was stressing him. If the whole of Africa, on the world the highest per capita GDP, okay, compared to here, Ghana has around 230 USD. 1,600. In the average the more in there, so be it Ghana averagely on the average no, or 230, which is about let's say 2,500 cedis. Okay, if your public sector is official numbers is around 3,000 average salary. Of course, obi mi jibe bree into your average, you know. Obi mi so was no kakrebi. Now, if you're South Africa, them 1,600, what it means is there on the average, you know, once I hold you 2,500 cedis for no, a city equivalent, you know, or a bear times times 10, that's about 16,000 and more. In terms of raw figures, economics look at nominal figures, back at the South Africa were far ahead of. So, because the South African Marco hustle market, well, from the economic side, can justified. But you see, why they being kind of meet to Marco currently, or can they be America, Iraq, in Ghana? Why do you need a lot of people going to Iraq or Iran? What I want to say in there, before I go to Kwano, beyond the financials, no, there are other risk factors. Oh, then get a share and sana can do me to come to them country do. Okay, Finland, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But some of the why they Ghana for won't to Finland. Our hopa. So the Ghanaian wouldn't want to go and put himself in that risk. So, but what I think you are not doing well as a country there. I came to know about. We are just fascinated because we want to travel. But you need to connect so the actually maybe you business case be free. But you find other indicators in find them in front to hold. Because at the moment I see issues like maybe a conflict, discrimination, social. I mean that means that is the kahono. Make a wempo no mokwa. How we be kwano no for we treat him and you be abokum dem yimpa. Would they give me that respect? There are a lot of Ghanaians who WhatsApp with Chema. They wish they are what's back in Ghana just because of discrimination, racism. Obimo how US, UK, Nazi, but they wish they were back to Ghana because of just racism, which means that yes, Sikano were all right, but in some bisu on ma asitano on your complete. On yende and a Ghana for you who the South Africans said you won't fat or booby fama blacks no. I mean, South Africa for white here, we're to but some of us, when I in one way or the other, they feel there, and hence they are blacks, be no one way as a super blacks or whatsoever. Okay, we know from history, 2006, a record was made on xenophobic attack. 2015, the same. 2016, it's been happening. We as travelers now, so we should understand the country. Nanka South Africa so sanya asam na waba record was South African pool for Christ's sake sanya asam na waba na ya nsisa henze me as a country na South Africa kura mpo nke kede no ho omana hen ya abo hona mo we gina hona do through the support we give them from history time our war apartheid Nazi. Look at the support we gave them as a country and even as a continent na se bi unde move there. You think there's a yimpa and that you have to attack us in any way. Abna, me kakra me catch travelers and young people now. You pay to come and look. Aya woman yen suazi before you go to an amount of we just don't have to go there because our day yeko. I think they onu kakra me catch. I mean the but on the side of the government, no two ways. Government, as a country, in terms of effort towards letting the South Africans know no, you are wrong. I think we have been bold enough to let them understand the day. But this time, no, I would
say got your point. Almost say you're exaggerating.
Abna, if Nipa Kruwa, what is more exaggeration than the Nipa Kruwa? Say, it's not even devil. Say, Obikwa pra out of attacks. What is more dangerous than that? Asa, we are saying the right figures. I don't think there's nothing about exaggeration about it. I think we have rather showed some kind of leadership. What do we are handle one? They need to know that they are doing something wrong. They need to understand them more. It doesn't help the African continent. It doesn't help us as a people. Fight there or there boom as an African. I mean, after someone directed General South African. Yes, or to Ghana Hadi. Go first until recently, Daman Mines back to Ibrahim Mahama. Daman Mines and the rest, they are part of.
Even now, Campo, no more renew one camp. I think it's a chrono. I have no. Maybe but there's a possibility that go back SME by that is what almost why Ginger almost say. Then even the support that we are supposed to even have, and I say the development that we are looking forward to, we are not even getting it. Because if say a good year to say move to the accord and a royalty say yenya say even per negotiation and the law say back and component were enough percentage to develop our own, create jobs and all that. Other things more superpowers to do this to our people.
Yes.
What you say?
But you see, them go back. Come on, I think they are a bit strategic and diplomatic because
so a bit radical.
No, I personally mean
it's all yes. You better show yes. See, later
will be start sending on one of the platform. Will be said the chiefs no more can no say in case that's what be one podium. They're looking at them from a private sector. What's it when you co-ownership? The question I was asking myself in there, see, these are they going to develop the community the way you're expecting now. Okay.
No, who will see Nancy?
Atimasa. We need to be careful with that discussion. I mean, in all honesty, we need to be careful with that.
Was it just a henny? Kasai, na mi bisane say. Sometimes, mu kromano, mu pay in punto dear. But don't forget, say, and you mufiti yaso no mobile chrome hodom, and then you fiti yaso no mutu a form of good year. And to say, be binina se more prayer pair. In Pimpino, Mama are buying not through the laws, no. Exactly, but I won't sorry, cause say they are there by.
But do you realize there, even chiefs, no one argument, no, it was not even based on mainly development too.
And also
but they even cited issue with Galamsey, the distraction, which for me is a big question, more big question mark, because Galamsey issue, no. When chiefs nampono, they are complexes. They are part of the blame. The same one. So if you want to push everything in terms of the distraction because of gold faces, no one is in fact. I mean, the the one we need to be careful about this whole discussion. Now, okay, today because of what is happening, everything about them not there. In same one. And see, but more. I mean, more. The other issue also is that when also South Africa as a country, or the way they have to work on themselves. Okay, one president of Ramaphosa, and we are sure the South African envoy now had one as what and Washington when non Casa there. He also have to step up and then ensure that internally issues or are dealt with. South Africa, one of the big issues of power inequality. Sikafu pano or like a crabby, but they control a lot of wealth in South Africa. Until ama gap between Sikafu na in here from South Africa no wide, and it's all part of the reasons why the unemployment and other issues see why escalate. In fact, South Africa unemployment rate was it is very high, but on your hand blacks now unemployment is high.
That is another thing. I am a person me say idea that woman no say foreigners about beji ejuma and all that. Ejuma de wo hen e na no mo ya no but ejuma de wo hen no mo ya anti foreigner bi ababeji enu because of that na emma wunya ejuma nye e ba no yen traders na ade ya na mo ya agitated e say foreigners no emra wo hono say emma me retaili goods se bi wholesale but se wo be retailer e basa there will be a competition between maybe one will means to get it cheaper make us say my ba fa no wo hono e na make kwakoto nti me so me de beto so atonti wo say wo retailer na wo de na cheaper na say me de no ye nto nti mra wo hono e say wo yes ade but I don't think that is what is happening in South Africa.
Issue of South Africa anyone. Ghana we also have a similar issue to deal with though. To be honest with you. So here's your in the attack in Nigerian. Who in Nigeria? Nigerians.
Nigeria be a spare parts almost say almost the same.
You follow the same. If Ghanaians want to do the same thing in Ghana, do you think Africa be a demand from Ghana? Because a lot of Nigerians are here. They are doing a lot of illegalities. I'm not saying that Mwaya no are right, but you see. We are trying to approach the whole thing because we are all looking at the bigger picture of integration as a content which we in there about Bohen. Until if you feel that okay your local laws and other retail policies now the foreigners are not abiding by those regulations, you think this is the way to go. Until yes we attack one for then Obia attack Obia. I don't think we will get that peace in the country. Until that doesn't have to be a justification at all in any way. Abna, it doesn't have to be a justification at all.
Me that say. Thank you very much. And at the time I soon as unfortunately another we say live we see by 10 didn't it? Yes, so we don't find any actual form of we don't mean chipping in or move and say they do when I'm a sermon with Chamos one Matthias said, dear mammy, why? Okay.
I'm not xenophobic attack in this one. I'm the NDC as a party, yeah, reorganization, branch elections almost across the country. The year we now so I be a constituency election. Now me country honorable Sefia, I am a constituency. Me uncle Beko organizer a Fia. Uncle Abe, I'm a Salifu. Oh, Salifu. Uncle. You know, I'm a Baton. na ya
be a fear for minim takra de the environs ne I don't know western region but it me as a Asante Nkramu ewo hono pa so mo tuba na me boa
the whole metropolis no efia ena sekindi in the biggest Zungu. In fact, if you Kuma Zungu is one of the biggest
if you Kuma Zungu,
and we are a very huge Muslim community.
Inti member fiama be campaign ama me small boy back home. So you tertiary education institution network. UMAT is contesting for deputy organizer, Roland Brown, a very fantastic young guy. Mesle say name 84 no ento abanama no beti me yadwuma no. Komo ya yedi
ayo Pedro nipa we ya mema obi why
no problem. Na komo yedi eye ehiasem honorable name nua adi ho komo yie ti me mpese me sound repetitive na oman Ghana ayebi aboa South Africa emra na Rollins eyo mampanya na apartheid ekoso na wanye only advocacy but financial support so Ghana eboa omo in the fight for independence ntina one would least expect say oman a yen ya boa omo na nka motumi enyo mfa hodie die se omukunya fa hodie ni wia anka mbefa yen se sebe omatamfo na underlying issue a omode eye di omoye nyina eye adwuma nsem a yedi kan edi ho nkomo no omususu se ahoho titiru blacks a omowo ho no ema omunya adwuma e woso motumi enya records ene bibia kire se di omoka no enye saa netie nenso omunyai and it has been consistent enye afiwe nkoa fact 2019 calling pompon so kwan omo faso pamo ahoho afiri omo maimu and last year and this year so asanso escalate unfortunately for Ghana nipa mienu afamu ahwero mo kwa mayema omo busuafo yakona yenka senyame informal crimes NCA say nipa tu kwan wotu bata say okope bibi abedidie kamegidi say eni se kobasa na sene minia kan say na wutu kwan na nka South Africa de enwanwa say eba kwantuo ne ho adwuma nsem a obia ne di decision ye ka say ye was South Africa for nso omaba omaimu a omobe ye adwuma nti almost every country a ewo wi asem ha no okwo a ohwa be hia Ghana ni na no me call Tanzania enam ho ne ye di ye ka
chikasa
Abrante bi say emi ni amohia mu pro na me so we free Tanzania be free Ghana na me ye adwuma wo Anglo Good e wo oboase na maba Tanzania me be ye adwuma e call Senegal so the same thing the ohwa da be bia me call ya manhia Ghana ni eye Morocco a me call na nsen ya de me pa kire nyina ne say Ghana for atubata a omo obi eko school ebi mu nso ekoye adwuma sana amaina Ghana for akoho no omo nso amanfo nso aba oman mu ndu so obi eti Kumasi no watu kwan abankran so obepia adwuma ye obi nso tenkran ha wo Kumasi o eso ko pia adwuma anase aware mpo e de na kwa kopie ho nti ewiase no abeye global a ye nyina yedi ye ho nkita ho nti South Africa for ade omoye ne de isipai enya de a ewo se yesoso Africa Union has not come to the table. I think say more response any the was so much me editia South Africa government because you see leadership is cause all other things effect. Yemfa say South Africa ban edin hyehyeye edin nenye sifom se obetu sa xenophobic attacks nasia obetumi aye se wanyempo ansosidi holia yebehu se at least aban eye effort bi but baby ametene de mehu se aban effort no enye nika eno no se betumi aye nika ebegina sanctions African Union edebema ebia this European Union some of them are saying say we are South African because of normal AC intino yeah ma kwan e ma wo mo country Europe into African Union so edebe na ye and I think as a government the so far diplomatically they say now South Africa for who said Julius Malema was complaining at the say na enum pempen so was anke be fire man for which I disagrey anyway we say we can here na because ade akodu say ye prank of na obi ehwe ne nkwa wo mu de ye ntwen enkosi da ban ansa nti of course obi tu kwan a owo botaye ode koye nti se wo nyaa de nti a wo koye na enye bibi na ehye no a oma nti afhyase na ye se na nke pese ye de omoba no na ahokeka ni ho but omo hwe se ade na ni ye nyan no ebinom ebeka ho mo omobai first second change aba abanyama yate ase se wonom a aye crowd so omo pese omo ba oman mu ni a aban e de omo beba oman mu yes and so some way a way to integrate them because obi bedru oman ni mu na se ansa na obekọ no adwuma na oye wajai asisi asabi oni adwuma bia wo man mu e no de akopie ho okopie won so na ye kopamo na wo sanso ba oba nsansa e ha adwen kakra nti megidi se e wo se sa diplomatic measures na ye de ato okwan mu no ye koso na ye no mo na ye ensure se omo beba no ye wie so no mo be draw man mu a there will be a proper integration to allow them to also get some meaningful employment for themselves and be able to fend for omo ankasa mo hone omo family na ye nkase going forward no Ghana as a country, any African Union must take some drastic measures against the government of South Africa. Na yenhwese sa no mana AC no eto betumi atwa. Me hu say na modi nkomo afa go face because of baby am meeting into me mpese meka bebre but the mesre ni say resource nationalism na kofo bi mu preach no munya abotransa. A very dicey area. Now, amendments in our Minerals and Mining Act 2006. Yeah, amendment cry. This year, such a mode mrafo for cry because 2006 any the buyer and amendment 2015. Yes, and so amendment 2019 the Act 900 Act 995. Yeah, who say emerald I was a total overhaul in ye brand for cry. The highlights ni be a say this year ye baby ye recognizance lines is everyone. I enhance prospecting years no nemum sa mining lease the ma company the government of Ghana and a sign portion na mining company ni so assign the near money lease because mineral rights na ye omamuni nyina de ya na de ahye omampanyin nsa no sa new act na ye dey by beba parliament omo so bebobo ho ne nyina begia tum no ye pese corporate social responsibility no ye sachem ne kosoro na ye agreement about development agreement between the communities and the mining company because in some omo kan nyina no acquire say discretionary ye pese ye ene ye mamo but ye pese no sanso ye mra nti ye mawo mra say ye mawo mining lease between the government of Ghana and Honorable Buama. Honorable Buama besanso akoye another agreement between Honorable Buama Mining Company and the community. Inti sa agreement ni muno na ye be benchmark we hu se de wo so be ye no eno na wo ye because na enkoba se corporate social responsibility nti ubi so mo disika kese beto dwa no maka se sa sika no ye de bia koye we ye eno na amanfo ne pia na nti eno so ya de amemi susu se say the co-parliament na parliament for so edo madwen kire ka ho na yes amra na ebeboa ema babia nti wa show ewo titiri no because me mashia National House of Chiefs on this matter when you mudi nkomo a mo say royalties no ekwa aban ho na ebedu aban ho a ne atetia na percentage bi nti ubeti say yetia royalties be $1 million and so the be back to be a traditional council no e be $13,000 because ye chiche mu bia nti say ye dey sa agreement ne ba community no any mining companies no nya because surface rights no e dey your modia mineral rights no any the LEC for the period yes and so another one a woman say sisi a yɛpɛ yen sachaye na say mining lease a maximum of 30 years no yetumi de back 20 years until after 20 years no obesan so ababio for renewal na yatena say aye proper negotiation me gidi say where we are now no some of these measures ebeboa yen na yen koso ni nkomo no but yen susu enhye ne kutu pa say chinchina ebinum agapade o mo free o man foforo so aba abaye no yenye mayen ebi mpa ye de ma wana wontumi anye ne ye na nyuma na mambunu no eye no wontumi so antoa so ana de me meka wo sa sem no
okay me time you unfortunately vocal for insemi intimi ankasa mfamfa ho
basically vocal assembly is just a matter of government engagement. You see, your man ena Japadeni India ena ye obebwa yen steel and aluminium industry. The government has always said that they open strategic partner obabebwa, but no engagement with the stakeholders no onye clear. You see, say a strategic partner ba ma yen na yen open the conversation up. Na yen na yen who exactly what is going on. And the better was to do ye give away 20%. Per time they give away 50%. According to the workers, what's what they will give away 70%. Yeah. The 70% they sell not on company area.
And so fear of losing their job,
whether job losing their interest and all of that. And you know, your best say government should be very, very transparent. Me why also that you did the money kuntuna say ade shishe. Government should be transparent. Come to the table and here in IND come. What is the state of alcohol? Abadin epede eyefa ye nyina ye ndi dem nkomo na adwenkyere no onye in and out ye engage the stakeholders. What is the medium term long term objective and plan and also one adwenkyere then how are they affected one effect and ye befa abakwando ni are minimized when you do all of these and you carry the people along into no yanya ne dem no boy na me ye 2 minutes 1 minute I
think a straightforward discussion. In 2018, and we had this Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, which the whole idea in there, the bauxite chain, you know, up to the aluminium production, yet we are consulate to be Biama, why Kasako. If the value chain now, from the mining to the smelting now to your hand products now, there are a lot of infrastructure able to yinya. Kasibebri able to yinya is the information numbers now. I mean, good numbers in terms of employment able to generate, and even the fact that they import. Now here I can say produce locally, which we can even export to the end product. I mean, aluminium products here in our economy and even outside are huge. Opportunities are huge. I'm sure numbers now. You take the Hwamo team, you concentrate on the bauxite production. This is about 4 areas. I was the 8 years ago started to produce bauxite, but if the mine at that's in Pasar, so there are about 4 TB inclusive. Now the plan government in 2018 up to if the whole roadmap now, so you follow religiously. But the fact also is that VACO workers they should understand is not producing up to its capacity. Per the Auditor General report and all the documents I've read through, they are just doing about 25%. The same one. If you are doing 25%, now say government is looking at a strategic investor to come in and support to improve upon production. I don't see where the job losses will come. Okay. I don't see where the job losses come. So I think that some honorable kind.
No, the private we say in a hold, major shares in data. Mostly no, the plan now move it's a
Auntie, are we saying there? For example, go for Zamaya. Are we saying that, for example, go for Zamaya, Ibrahim will take you over? Say you lose one job and one salary or book for man. It's about negotiation. Okay. If salary agent, we can discuss the things out. If you are producing below capacity 25%, now say you are bringing in more investment for us to produce more. Definitely, if nothing at all, or they in more than that because you are even producing more. The same one. I think the engagement should be more. But transparency also comes with who one of them strategic partner is the man. And say when the names be but the Ibrahim Mahama interest and all that. Exactly. Need not a transparency discussion. There's nothing wrong if say Ibrahim Mahama capacity, financial capacity, technical capacity to come in as a private person. I would prefer the local to partner than even for you to go to a foreigner or an external way. And if he has the capacity, transparency is very important. The engagement should be important.
But don't forget about the political aspect.
That is where your issue. No, but since who are the locals will show the capacity. No, the same one. I mean, let's open up to a discussion. But the most important thing is that VACO can do better, and we need to give it the government the opportunity to make it a better institution. Then we'll benefit.
Okay, yo, Mate, Pedro.
VACO nkomo no. VACO si ni.
Also, we 1.5.
Yes.
1.5.
VACO a strategic company say ye ni ya ebeboa ye nyina nti the previous government and Nanado ade bia na megidi say
very good
the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation by GIADEC. The reason was that VACO na ye nyina ayeka no nkofo nim say no mo process no mo smelt no mo ye no mo despite say ye two boss sites wo ha no omo kra. So the main motive they say ye integrate such that sa boss at na ye tu no mamu ha no ye mfa nkwa ma no ne ebetumi a process e wo ha na no nso ebe create adwuma bebre me as a materials engineer tamana me wo KNUST no ye internship ye call because many mates we school we materials engineer me the am ye metallurgist ne say because I went to the mine and worked in the mine omo call VACO no ebi mo we omo call South Korea Saudi Arabia and they are there omo ye adwuma Salifu Razak Upland Godoga they are my classmates am ni omo tena classroom omo ye adwuma VACO omo call Saudi Arabia because hono na they needed their expertise nti say ye ni ya ebebo na VACO no e history then me bo abandada na baso a 2022 omo di tumo cabinet say ye here an equity investor obebam na tumi ama ye pajas because the enkofo ni me say VACO anshase as government agency o e shase as private in 1964 na ye Kaiser for na 90% na Renault ne Aqua e 10%. It was somewhere in 2003 Kaza going to receivership no and the government of Ghana acquire 90%. The history behind VACO. So VACO betumi aye adwuma pa nso a ade ohia power so at the time no the generation ye tumi generating sika na wo be spend it to generate no ene akoso inti se VACO ebetumi aye viable a e wo say you say ye ohia about 380 megawatts sa 380 megawatt no akoso bonko ebetumi di amana na sa akoso bonko antumi mfama no na say the independent power producers ni bi power ni na ye de be mo a omo de be mo at what cost but what you say inti adwumayefo a ewo VACO NDC NPP any civil society organization obi agitum say in the current state of VACO no ye sustainable I was say ye introduce some partnership bi a ebetumi edisika ababeshim na yetumi ama VACO amba ne home so akosoro esen de ehu ni sesi ano na wonoma eye adwuma ne de say change de ebeba they will fight against it me kai emra na eye adwuma o mines mu no na long term we adwuma na wo ko ahom gibre mu ye wo ho na mo ba sesi on person mo de call contract base into 2 years ni asan ama ye agitation na but ye na ye trase ye shemu obia alusu na adwuma wo obelusu adwuma ye be ye redundant na bia na say ye nya bibia ye de obeye because imagine say wo say sales na only one penny ye adwuma say me pe tambia na ye kokotena obi mu kura enya hwe for the past 15 years VACO making profit bia in fact even just last year they made a loss of about $25 million adentia inti say ye bema obi aba beka ho na yetumi aye adwuma no na gina na yetumi aboa ama saa boss site aye tool wo man mu nyina ye be process ne nya so mfaso a megidi say ye. However, to say honorable any pakwesika ye stakeholder engagement key hwe ebi kura wo be ya de aboa me amen no menya so mfaso nanso enam say wan kan kire me nti me kwa metumi akon atia nti yenko so ne yen stakeholder engagement no ne ma manfo ne nti ase hia ye woni pa bi mu ho a despite the engagement because say me bi ka catch all previous government krana cabinet approval for this equity investor no engagement because no omo personal interest bi nti no be shankofo bi mu achi so akwatia saafo ni nyina let's have a middle ground na ensure say vako no say ya bi so mo tetema emra na vako ya vako no.
It's a big sector.
Yeah.
It's a big
sector. And say you share na esanso be gina ne nan so.
Imagine say impo ebinom oppose na say engagement akoso proper discussion. Ya chichi ma mo bi atiase. Na about 80% and I say 85% I agree to the new idea eba. Don't you think say no ebe override and I say this papa say Hwamo say Hwamo. So the engagement is very
be some level of engagement, but I think there should be more because
the is the public conversation on said or a national asset.
Yeah.
And you know or said or go beyond the
engagement with the workers, with the Ghanaian people,
to the Ghanaian people,
yes.
Because obeying in the effect of value on the economy, or a huge,
very huge.
You understand? Then you know, Magana Funina, ye woman or kodo. Now about boy adinenia. So I feel na negotiation. You that this is where you want to go.
Exactly.
But when occur there, a shashasi and nibinuma kasa adene. Behind the scenes and I don't know then is politics.
No means I want time or let them ask the same thing. If it was that easy, you see one good thing about opposition is say ultimate church and say no, that's why if it was that easy I don't I know the minimum some tender momo close somewhere in January and there have been conversations for our interest so mo person mo ba and I make a choice so it didn't start with this regime previous regime no nti nkomo no akoso and there have been KPMG report on vacuum nti enye ade a nipa bi hye ba bi ono a ede ne sebe ni timupo eye bibi keke nti me gidi say two governments ni nyina age to me say there must be an investor, but the selection and how no one and common nyina ewo.
Okay, you no say you touch on say the my in mono you know the example me wa lawyer for me no say but honorable senior
honorable senior
me person me ho you know chama want to me MPP Ashanti regional chairman. Oh, that's a chairman. And you know, no, because I mean, so you knew say to me, you know, but all other issues and yes, some boy dear a woman SCA, CC watching, once watching, and then say, and T Bakwa, a sign comes so a Exim Bank, and so Eddie, and then a lawyer for more courts, and I'm say. Or pay more time for a year plea bargain. Na mami Miss Sasa will pay more time for plea bargain. Signal bena doesn't mean say weak case and as a genuine settlement talk and will pay bills so no about public trust in justice system dealing with a financial crime I say na city in Yabiano one political implications for NPP so and ahead of more elections and
I'm there basically this issue about prosecution fundamental there's a ban osusu there or no asem na odeko court na opede oja seminar or you two way a ban butumu erin another obolus it is a arena man ehwehwe nyina wonsa beka which is a jail term. Say a loser not shed any panwafa ni wedi. In 2021, they're about to introduce the plea bargain. to amend a portion of your criminal code. It's you change the procedure and they say Aban prosecute you at any stage within the prosecution. Able to a request for a plea negotiation. So that on found there be a egitum there I afum. Another ABR is through there what over two. But one kasa every case now or that we name now. A dream with the master say to me a kind ya you go to me yes. A banner opportunity there say a konya judgment against the person criminally. So it's sikasema yes can be of course. But say be as a negotiator laws now or yeah the reason why I prosecute the pan once about to waka not shed no one. And you know what has been triggered now, the plea bargain by the lawyer and then who to me is that Yankoka Abana Aja to me Butumi Akanofi. Now in the course of plea bargain negotiation, because of no other trial, you know, when to enough time to conclude, then I will ask for them extension of 1 month. And Rani Makwande said 30 days into my completer. The Butuma for renegotiation. See, I just hope that this within the 1 month time frame, you be politics out of it. Now you're fair to the state. Actually, the way Attorney General or Kasana, I'm a bit worried. Actually, other ones now will call withdrawal. Then another prosecute about the Bank of Ghana governor Adina. A bank can take 60% off. Now I'm with you. I'm not doing with you. 60 or 40. That means they won't you, but because of that you withdrew. Won't you mean plea bargain? We would also say or bet you scaling it out with all the accrued interest. These are all in already now. Nipa baby, I don't know. Nipa Nisikano also betia. Obetia, why they strike a similar concession? But because oil politics another day, you are talking about me scanning now with interest. That is not consistent with the position AG took when it came to Kwabena Dufour's case and all. It's your best said, one year very fair. There's a prison, an example, no kade. So be quite more 50% and 60%. Manaya shane de mema ombe bonan crofubedi. There, Crawford joined them, no to my Fabani scan, and the may be betiaba. Time no sir, Namaka could you be Nama Fankin. That shouldn't be it. But once you have this precedent,
I wish you bet a lot of questions and the stuff. After the plea bargain, can there be, a sentence that will jail him or something?
Yes, the law number various sentences regimes. Into go to why say whenever prosecutor accuse Obeja to okay, this is our sentence. Into the settlement in Mutum the sanction issue. Into judge and Obesha the sanction na agreement or you're consistent. On your demand you can vary and give some custodial and then the agreement and all that.
Oh, and Commander, the dance we're bringing to with my